All right, Successful Indie Author 5-Minute Focus, episode 105, production versus editing. And by production, I'm talking new words, creating new stories, creating new scenes within a story, all of that, as opposed to editing. My first book, I wrote it 100,000 words. I wrote it in 61 days, and I thought that's great. And then I reread it, and I'm like, oh my God, this is crap. And so I edited it. I reread that thing and edited it, self-edited it maybe 20 times. That took me another month to go through it, but I was doing this full time, so it's not like I was dabbling. I was really intent and doing it up what I considered right, and it was because I took those lessons that about writing, about what I was seeing from my own manuscript, and applied them to future books. So that was a learning experience. But I still, while I was doing that, I was writing another book. So I always keep the production line turning, and I always have new stories to tell. So I'm always writing. I will always get some new words on something, even if it's only 100 words a day, because that keeps the engine turning. Because all of a sudden you're going to be done editing and say, hey, it's done. And all those ideas you had for new stories when you're done editing, where are they? Well, if you've been writing, you've captured most of them, even if your writing only consists of doing an outline. So I am a huge fan of always getting new words every single day, no matter what else you're doing. Self-editing cleans up your first draft. You write your first draft, you write your story, and then all of a sudden it's like you're done. Hey, that's cool. And you go back through. If that first draft is so bad that you keep completely rewriting it, you have to go back and look at your initial production processes to make sure that you're not spinning your wheels, because you're writing. You don't want that to be wasted time. But I have to get that bad story out first before I can turn it into a good story. I suggest you can turn it into a good story at the start and make it a great story by editing. So let's not waste time writing a bad story that we have to completely rewrite. That tells you that maybe your thought process hasn't been sound when you thought about the story and came up with it in the first place. And then during the discovery writing process, you completely changed the story. That can be okay. But once again, I'm in the production business, and that's time consuming. It takes 3 times as long, because in the building industry, if we built something bad and had to fix it, you built it, you took it apart, you rebuilt it. It took 3 times as long. So we were big fans of getting it right the first time, even if it took a little longer. So taking that time to think each day, to think through your plots, to think through the story before you start jamming the words, those are critical. You need to jam the words because that's part of the process. You have to write. You have to get them into the computer so you can look at them and then tear them down, look at how it shapes the story. And then, of course, there's that value of good enough. Oh, I need this word to be perfect. And you might stress and worry about one word on a page over a course of a day or two. And I'll tell you, your readers probably won't notice. So that's let the readers be the arbiter. Get the story down, but get a good story down in the first place. So that's why it's important to get that good first thing. So that's what you learn in the editing process, is that, geez, I can write better if I do certain things when I write. Those are the notes you teach yourself for the process improvement part of writing. Still telling a story, but if you have to completely rewrite it, you're doing a lot of extra work. How about getting it that second draft stage the first time around? What would that do for your production processes? And edited words aren't new words. Until you get it out there for your beta readers, for your proofreaders, for your readers, for your buyers, you're not getting external feedback. And you might think a paragraph is bad, and the readers might think, this is great. Oh my God, look at this, and I want to keep reading. And you're worried about how it flows, but it may flow better than you think. Authors are their own worst judges when it comes to stories. And then some think their words are great when they're really might not be. Don't be one of those either. Edited words aren't new words. I am a big fan of always getting new words, even if it's only 100. You still have to edit. You still have to self-edit. You still have to pay somebody to edit. Not have to, probably, #probably. But it has to go through the editing process, because that first draft is not going to be perfect. There are going to be things that can be tweaked, fixed, changed, improved. And there's some things that if you mess with them, you're not going to make them better. Understand the difference. So production versus editing, I'm a big fan. You always have to have production, get some new words, edit the old words, improve, and take that to the next story to write a better story the first time to reduce that editing process on the back end. That's my 5-minute focus for today. Peace, fellow humans.